Okay, we're going to start with the praises to the 21 Taras. It starts on page 191 in the gold prayer book, or it's on the green sheet in the white binder. We'll start on 191 with the invocation, go all the way through to the end, and then we'll come back to page 190 for the prayer of the benefits. From your sublime abode at the Potala, O Tara, born from the green letter Tam, your crown adorned with Amitabha, action mother of the Buddhas of the three times, Tara, please come with your attendants. The gods and demigods bow to your lotus feet, O Tara, you who rescue all who are destitute. To you, Mother Tara, I pay homage. O my prostrate to the noble transcendent liberator, homage Tara, swift heroic, eyes like lightning instantaneous, sprung from opening stamens of the Lord of Three Worlds, tear-born lotus. Homage she whose face combines 100 autumn moons at fullest, blazing with light rays resplendent as 1,000 star collection. Homage golden blue and lotus, water-born and hand-adorned, giving effort, calm austerities, patience, meditation, her sphere. Homage crown of Tathagatas, actions triumph without limit, relied on by conquerors' children, having reached every perfection. Homage filling with Tutare, whom desire direction and space, trampling with her feet the seven worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Homage worshipped by the all-Lord, Chakra, Agni, Brahma, Marut, honored by the host of spirits, corpse-chasers, Gandharvas, Yakshas. Homage with her tray and pay sounds, destroying foes' magic diagrams, her feet pressing left out right in, blazing in a raging fire blaze. Homage to Ray, very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions. She was frowning lotus visage, who was slayer of all enemies. Homage at the heart, her fingers adorn her with three jewel mudra. Light ray masses all excited, all directions wheels adorn her. She's so joyous, radiant, crown emitting garlands of light, mirthful laughing with Tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. Homage she able to summon all earth guardians assembly, shaking, frowning with her home sign, saving from every misfortune. Homage crown adorned with crescent moon, all ornaments most shining. Amitabha in her hair knot, sending out much light eternal. Homage she mid wreath ablaze like eon ending fire abiding. Righteous left bent choice around you, troops of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and with her foot beats it, scaling with the letter whom the seven levels she does conquer. Homage happy, virtuous, peaceful, she whose field is peace nirvana. She endowed with Om and Soha, destroyer of the great evil. Homage she with joy surrounded, tearing foes' bodies asunder. Peace with whom in knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters. Homage Turi with seed letter of the shape of syllable, whom by footstepping shakes the three worlds, Meru, Mandara, and Vindhya. Homage holding in her hand the hair-marked moon of Deva lake form, with twice spoken Tara and Pei, totally dispelling poison. She whom gods and their kings and the kinnaras do honor, armored in all joyful splendor, she dispels bad dreams and conflicts. Homage she whose two eyes bright with radiance of sun and full moon, with twice Hara and Tutare, she dispels severe contagion. Homage full of liberating power by the asset of three natures, destroys hosts of spirits, yakshas, and raised corpses supreme Ture. These praises with root mantras and prostrations thus are 21. Page 190. Whoever is endowed with devotion for the goddess and recites this with supreme faith, remembering it at dawn upon waking and in the evenings, will be granted all fearlessness, will perfectly pacify all negativities, and will eliminate all unfortunate migrations. The multitudes of conquerors will quickly grant initiation. Thus endowed with his greatness, one will eventually reach the state of a Buddha. If affected by the most terrible poison, whether ingested, drunk, or from a living being, just by remembering will one be thoroughly cleansed. If this prayer is recited 2, 3, or 7 times, it will pacify all the sufferings of torments caused by spirits, fevers, and poisons, and by other beings as well. If you wish for a child, you get a child. If you wish for wealth, you will receive wealth. All your wishes will be fulfilled and all obstacles pacified.
You already finished the benefit?
Yes.
Maybe one thing. The one that we do at the Tara practice, not that benefit, another one, you remember? Another one? That's okay.
It's like this, is it the Torah 7 limb So now, 7 limb. Samula. Where's Samula? She has company and couldn't come
Okay.
So on page 35, we'll chant the 7 limb prayer. Gosungu pegane chokshalo ngo shami trul chutrin malubu tokme ne sak dik tung tam che shak ke pa ge wanam la jairang korwa matong pardulek shukne trola chuki korlo korwadang dagshen genam chang chup chen porngo. So on page 98, we'll recite the short mandala offering, followed by the request to turn the wheel of Dharma. Saji puki jukshin metok tramri rabling shi nije Jetsun Lama Dampa Kenam Kichu Kukala Kense Chudzin Trig Jitar Tsampe Dulce Zinma Laza Gechuki Charpa Waptu Sol Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamnirya Tayami Chudang Soki Choknam Jangju Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chingi Pesonamgi Jola Pinshir Sange Drupar Shok Chudang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chinyengi Pesonamgi Drola Pinshir Sange Drupar Shok Chudang Soki Chognam La Jangchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chenyengi Pesonamgi Drola Pinshir Sange Drupar Shok
Oh yeah, good evening. Oh yeah, welcome back to class. So somebody made meditation cushions for the cat. It's very important. So then today probably going to finish the 12 link, okay? 12 link. Oh. So so when you think about Four Noble Truth, truth of suffering, then truth of origin of sufferings, truth of cessations, truth of path that lead to the cessation. So Dunga Demba, Kunjun Demba. So see this order, Four Noble Truth, noble truth of sufferings. Does that sound good? Huh? Noble truth of suffering. Say it in English, Four Noble Truth. Please say. Huh?
Truth of suffering, truth of origination.
Where's the word noble? Huh?
The noble truth of suffering, the noble truth of origination, the noble truth of cessation. And the noble truth of
the So you could say for truth. That's one way to say Dembashi. Then there's the longer version. There you can say Phagwet Dembashi. four truth of Arya beings. Arya beings, the one that who sees emptiness directly, then you become Arya being. So you could say like four truth of Arya beings, Pabe Dambashi. I'm not sure where the word noble come from. For noble truth. Maybe somebody just made it up. Somebody just made it up, this word noble. Anybody know?
I think it's because noble means very high and important.
Oh, if that's the meaning, so that makes sense. It is kind of important. So, Dembashi, so in Tibetan words, of course, this English translation is coming from Tibetan teachings. The Tibetan teachings come from Nalanda traditions. Then there's two ways to say it. Dembashi, for truth, or Pabe Dembashi. Then you say for truth of Arya beings. So then I don't remember seeing noble there. So anyway, so if the noble has a meaning of importance, then even though that word noble, for noble truth doesn't exist in Tibetan text, but I think it's okay. So, but for the sake of knowledge, so I'm not sure whether noble would, where they translated noble from which word. So anyway, so the truth, truth of sufferings, origin of sufferings, then cessations, then the path, right? So this order is basically designed to put into practice. Actually, if the order based on causality, so then you should say first origin of sufferings. So that's the cause. Then the result. Then you say sufferings. So then you say path. Then you say cessations. That's the order. Has the order based on based on causality. So so now this practice is very much designed to based on the order that we just said is based on practice. That's how you practice. It's not based on causality. So if you see origin, this is for the sake of knowledge. If you see origin of suffering, then truth of suffering, don't say it's a mistake, it's wrong. It's not wrong. That order is based on causality. It's not right or wrong. There's no, if you see something like that, origin of suffering, truth of sufferings, path, then cessations, it's not wrong. So that order is based on causalities, okay, for the sake of knowledge. So then the second truth, origin of sufferings. So then there's like within that origin of suffering, there's two parts. One, actions or karma. So then another one. So then there's delusions and karma. That's what's in the second truth. So then when you expand that, then it becomes 12 link. When you expand that, then it becomes 12 link. So for the sake of knowledge. Also, that's what I've been saying. 12 link is the expansion of the expansion of the second truth. When you expand, so then it becomes 12. So what that shows, it shows that how this cyclic existence, like a wheel, birth, then death, then aging, then like all the organs. That's how that's going round and round. So then that's within the fundamental truth. this year. So then out of these 12 links, so we finish 10, or we already completed 10. So now number 11 and 12. Right? Did you finish 10? Huh? 11? Oh, so now there is only one left. That's good, even better news. That's another 12. So then 12, the aging and death, that count 1. So the one count. When it's count 12, even there's two topics, but it only counts 1. So that's the last one. Don't get in the to be Kiji Nibanes, Chizi Marju Par, Namiji Pumu Nazo Shendu Jurbe, Nada Shendu Jurbe Chalas, Gavet and this. According to the aging, is not very much based on not based on your color of your hair change. It becomes dark to gray, blonde to gray. I'm not sure, yellow to gray or no, it's not based on that. Minute we born, then there's like kind of like how to change. So the aging here refers to the change. The minute we are born, so then till we die, so then there's all kind of change. That's called aging. Aging. Chizi to be kijin jivan chizi madri par namiji fumo nasu. Even the body change, the thinking change, feeling change, interest change, like grow, the grow. So then like all everything, kind of like how you say, evolve. So that one is called aging. That one's called change over a period since was born till the death. This whole change, that's called aging. What is called in English? Anybody looking at English? Last yeah. So then Namiji Pumuri to Toy Chala Chivit ended Jos. So then Namiji Pumuri to Toy Chalas. When the consciousness disconnects with this body, so that's called death. When the consciousness disconnects with this body, then that's called death. That's called death. When you look at the consciousness, I don't think you can talk about death and birth. It's all based on the aggregate. It's all based on death and birth. It's all based on aggregate. So when this consciousness karmically disconnect with this body, then it's called death. But then according to Buddhist practice, but it still maybe, even though your breath ceases, still the consciousness may remain in your body 3 days if the body has not been exhausted by a lot of pain or sickness, disease. If your body is completely exhausted, energy of your body is completely exhausted by sicknesses and disease, so then consciousness may not remain there 3 days. Other than that, pretty much animal, everything, the consciousness will remain there 3 days. So according to Buddhist practice, that is still not considered as a death yet, even though medically you may say that person dead, but according to Buddhism, that person is not dead. So there's still consciousness, still not disconnected with the body. So there's no when we take birth, when the consciousness take birth, after going through this 49-day period after death, so then that's what is called between death and birth. That's called intermediate state called pardo. The maximum lifespan of pardo is like 49 days. Then I think every week it goes through small, that's called chichung, means small death. It goes through small death. So then 1 week, if not able to take rebirth, then there'll be another 1 more week. So then it goes like 7 weeks. Oh. When the consciousness, take rebirth, it takes, like you, what is it, between sperm, that you say egg, but actually that's like sperm and the blood, there's one blood. So the consciousness, that's where take birth and remain between like this. Oh. Actually it's like the sperm up, the red blood below, like that. So the consciousness take place there. So that's where in Buddhism when you point to the heart, not the physical heart. So that's where everything begins, chakras, channels, everything merge from there. So then everything begin here, then everything will end here, everything will end here. Everything begin from there and everything will end here. So then basically in the very end of the consciousness will remain there 3 days, remain there 3 days. Generally speaking, it's not definite, remain there. So then how you can tell whether the consciousness left the body or not, how you can tell. So red, what you call red bodhicitta, that will come out of nose, maybe left nose. So when you see the blood from there, so that's kind of external sign the consciousness already descend from the body. So then the white cells, actually, is white is up, red is below. After, when everything dissolves here and somehow it kind of like upside down, it's kind of a truth upside down. Red actually is like white is above, red is below. Then from the karmic force, it kind of like turn upside down. Red become above, the white become below. So then red, that's the external sign, then the consciousness already descend. So then the white goes from the tip of the organs, comes out of the organs. So then whatever you need to do, cremate or bury, so then people usually take the body out of the house, something like that. So then that you may not see that blood. In some cases like week, some cases like 18 days, the consciousness remain there. So the great practitioners, so they're thinking something deep, so the consciousness remain there. So, and I witnessed in my life, I witnessed one of my masters probably remained there 14 days. There's no smell. There's no smell. The body doesn't smell. And looks like that. They also have some kind of like, it looks like exactly like sleeping. It looks like exactly like sleeping. Usually when people die, it doesn't look like sleeping because there has the energy that body possess. Kind of you lose that energy and become like kind of like looks like plastic or something, mud or something like that. And when the consciousness been remaining that between that 2 drops, so then the body looks very fresh, very fresh. In some case, you see the sweat around mouth. You see in the morning, you see sweat. That happens in the monastery. It happens many times. In my lifetime, I witnessed one of my teachers who passed away. And recently, His Holiness invite a group of scientists from America or Europe, I don't remember where, to what they have to say, to invite them to India. So one of the master, the monk, he passed away. So he was there like 18 days, and scientists brought them to see what they're going to say. So and they probably come with all kind of equipment, come there and probably did some test. So that's called tutam. Yeah, so that happened, but it doesn't mean it happened to everybody, but generally speaking, consciousness remain there, okay? So then when the consciousness descends, then there's death, karmically disconnect. Even though your own consciousness, of course, Pardo will be around. Pardo hears everything you say. Pardo kind of sees what you do, sees Pardo in the middle state possess some kind of miracle power, like the wall cannot stop, it just go through the wall. The only thing that stops the mother's womb, so they get stuck because the karma, they get stuck in the mother's womb, they cannot go through. Other than that, so then all the wall, they just go through. So even the consciousness, when you seize the body, does not recognize that's your body because you are karmically disconnected. You will not see that's your body, you don't see. Even though you see the body, you will not recognize it's your body. So because karmically disconnected. Then yeah, so then sometimes you hear, oh, so and so came and talking to me and telling you something like that, Maybe somebody else using the body, not that person. That person consciousness body is karmically disconnected. So you can say, oh, so your father came to me and telling you this and that, so maybe that may not be your father, so maybe somebody else using your father's body as appeared as to the way to appear or to you. So according to the teachings, that's karmically disconnected. Could be some other form of spirit using your father's body and telling you do this and do that. Other than that, usually that does not mean you don't feel. You do feel their presence, and then not in that form. That's your perception. That's your perceptions. That feeling that you feel something. Maybe you feel the consciousness. You felt consciousness. There's no surprise. Consciousness will be round. So then that you probably feel like that consciousness has no color, no shape. You can see. You cannot see. The feeling, then there's perception beyond the feeling. That perception is very much related to that person's appearances. Then you may remember that appearance. It doesn't mean that appearance is actually talking to you. It's just doesn't mean like that. Okay, so therefore the second knowledge. So oh yeah. So anyway, so there's the death. So then the death occurs when the consciousness is disconnected with this physical body. That is called death. Oh, that's the one. That's the last one. Then why, even though there's two, aging and death, why you count one? If somebody asks why you count one, because there's no definite order. Which one comes first? Aging or death? Hard to say. So before the evolutions, people die. Before evolution began, people just die in the mother's womb. So that's why aging and death, there's no definite order. Therefore, they count one, even though there's two of them. So that's the last 12 links. So then usually aging is old means when you see wrinkles, then gray hair. That's just in the mundane world, that's you call somebody old. But second moment you're born is already started. Second moment you're born is already started. It's not like like wrinkles and the gray hairs. They're just mundane way of recognizing aging. The aging is already started. The minute you are born, it's already started. The process is already started. Oh yeah, then so then like then somebody's wondering here, somebody's wondering why you don't count like remorse. People get how you say sad, remorse, grief. Then somebody's wondering why you don't count grief into 12 links. Grief, Menga them is then like yeah, probably crying and like saying something, so something. Menga them is like usually like yeah, then then people cry, then people say something, then there all kind of things. People say menga them is saying something sad, something sad. Doing our so then pain of losing somebody, pain or doing what immediate so then unpleasant mind. So why you don't count all this there? Why you don't count this? Lenyeji chichiche ba tamjela tena juinge what mess. So these things will not. These things are not definite. It's not definite. That's going to happen when somebody dies. That's not definite. Because somebody it's not definite. It's not definite. Probably as Nyangem is like sadness. So there's some of them related to the remaining family members. Some of them relate to the person who's dying. So then person who is dying not necessarily experience sadness. Some of them may feel like they are going to visit their families. So that kind of mindset, they know exactly what's going to happen. They know exactly what's going to happen. It's not like they are not sure what's going to happen. It's not like that. They know exactly what's going to happen. So those type of people, there's no sadness. There's no pain. There's no suffering. There's no unpleasant mind. There's no unpleasant minds. Therefore, these are not counted in the 12 links. 12 links is definitely going to happen. Every single beings that go through death is going to happen. Doesn't matter. Desire realms, celestial realms, form realms, formless realms, 3 realms. No matter where you are born, when you die, these 12 things are going to happen. But not the sadness or grief or sadness, unpleasant mind. That's not definite. Some people, they know exactly what's going to happen when they die, so they are not sad. They're not sad. There's no pain. That's why. Okay, for the sake of knowledge. Lenyeji chichi cheba tamjela tanjo nyowe oda teda teda nyowe chudim dembe gelon gashi. It deshin do choy bishin. Some people they die with happy mind. They die with happy mind. So see. So Milarepa, you remember Milarepa? Milarepa, there's a famous yogi from Tibetan yogi from Tibet. Nga chiwe jine relatives, nga chiwe jine relatives. So Milarepa said he escaped. He went to the mountain. He went on the mountain. He went onto the mountain. Chiwe jine relative. Chiwe usually means escape. He escaped. Maybe he escaped from the town and went to the mountains. Because fear of death. That's why he said because fear of death. Nachiwe junior relative. Namji chemi kaza nachiwe I do remember. That's one stanza. Namji chemi gong beso. So then he's meditating, not just like hunting, on the mountain. He went on the mountain, then hunting and like hanging out. It's not like that. He went on the mountain, then he meditated. And he discovered the true nature of mind. He discovered. Semyungme nelu tongbato. True nature of mind. You could say Mahamudra, Dzogchen, there's so many different names. You could say Dzogchen, you could say Mahamudra. There's so many different names, each like lineage, Dzogchen from Nyingma tradition, Mahamudra, so Kagyu they use. Basically the true nature of mind. Semyungme nilu tongbatos. Then he realized, through meditation, he realized the true nature of mind. ultimate truth. He realized the true nature of mind. Similar to that Chiwa Junya Nyamgame. Now he says, now even the death occur, no problem. No problems. No problem. Oh, no problems. Oh. So those type of people, when they die, there's no fear. There's no fear. Oh. Children they begin longer he dash in the Chiwa Yebishes. Then see it's very interesting. I think it's one of the Kadampa Geshe, I think it's Chakawa. Geshe Chakawa, I think it's like the one who wrote 7.9 new text, or I think maybe he was there. It's the him, I think. He was renowned, no, he was known throughout the village. He was very well known scholar, practitioners. Then when he's dying, so then his students sense that he looks kind of sad. Then everybody says, oh, what happens? Because when you are alive, you are so well known practitioner, well known scholar. Now we kind of sense you have some kind of sadness, because he's having visions of the Pure Land. He don't want to go. He wants to go to the lower realms to help sentient beings. That's what he's wishing. He's not object to go to lower realms, to be there just to benefit others. That's his primary wish. But that's not happening. How that's going to happen? When you go to lower realm out of karma, no. So that's why he's kind of sad, not because he's. So then people don't understand. People don't understand. So. I think Geshe Chakawa. So these people, even though you wish to go, you don't go. No, you don't go there, down there. Oh, it's not here. Some other text. Children they make a long agitation to you. Tell them the E. Go deja no koale. Chowa chemi. Tell them that dungaji pumbo. Chibu bashi ba the jumaji. Shezu maji. Go by the Chawanga. Dungaji no kazaka damini. So then that's pretty much finished. The last link, pretty much finished. See, that was here. Now the point is here. That's perception about death. Could be wrong. So especially in the West. Nobody wants to think about that because too depressed. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's absolutely wrong. It's not depressed. That means it's not like depression will not occur for every person who go through death. So that's the point here. So now here somebody is raising a question. Okay, so then it's 12 now finished. Now there's some kind of like questions that raise. Deva, here, desire realms, form realm, formless realm. There's 3 realms. Oh. And the form realm, there's like 17 different levels. 17 different locations. You could say different locations or different 17 different levels within the form realms. The desire realm, there's probably like 20 something if you divide it, if there's 20 something. So then within the desire realms, there's like 7 celestial realms within the desire realms. So then form realms, 17 levels within the form realms. So then formless realm, there's 4 levels. Oh, 4 levels. 4 levels, okay. May not see in the Lamrim there, so but some other books, there's Desuna Ganichiwa Yujanche. Subina Temede, Tena Gavitin Mevitna, Diji Nimbota, Tena Jibin Gawami, Jimmy, Tena Major. Now you will never see the joy of Tina Gavit in the shabe chobe sentience and then this. See, like aging is not really refers to wrinkle and the gray hair. So formless realm, there's no form. But do they die? They do die. And how you can tell they're old or young? You cannot tell because they have no body. You can't tell. Can you tell consciousness how old the consciousness is? Huh? Can you tell consciousness how old the consciousness is? You can't tell. Because there's no form, there's no shape, there's no color. You can't tell. But this last link, link number 12, does happen in the formless realm. Then how's our aging? How you can tell aging? You can't really tell. Because nobody has body. It's just consciousness functioning. But they do go through 12 links. They go to die. So there's so much perception has been built based on this body, this physical body, about aging and death. So much perception has been built on that. So now this is like kind of sideline of 12 links teachings. So Yangla Shidwa Nimosundu Dugunis Duaje. So now if you kind of like summarize this 12 link into some kind of categories and how you summarize them, this is for the sake of knowledge. Yangla Shiduaje. 12 links you could summarize into 4 limb. There's 12 links you can summarize into 4. Or you can summarize this into three types of, it's called Nimo Sududua, 3 types of delusions. And Duguni Sudua, then summarize into first true truth, 12 link, summarize into first true truth, truth of suffering and origin of suffering. You can summarize there. So that's why I'm saying the very first time I said this is the expansions of Four Noble Truth. So now you see why this is the expansion of Four Noble Truth, because you can summarize all this 12 links into first true truth, truth of suffering and origin of suffering. So for the sake of knowledge and for the sake of meditations, so it's important to understand. So no knowledge, no wisdom. No knowledge, then nothing to meditate on. In order to meditate, you have to have something to meditate on, other than not much different cat sitting on. Pretty much same. Pretty much same. Pretty much same. Oh yeah. Then they yangla chuni budi yangla shi do in the marik bache duje navi some duje navi marik bache duje navi some this mari duje navi yanyamazo no tawon namune yangla shi do de mari duje yangla. So now how is it not summarize? Summarize? Huh? Probably, yeah, better to say categorize. Yeah, that's probably better word. Categorize. So you could categorize like 12 links into four how is it? Four category of four category. You can summarize. You can categorize into 4 categories, right? 4 categories. What are those 4 categories? So then, first link ignorance. The second one, karma, right? Mari duje. Then the third one is consciousness. This summarized into the categories called throwing karma. Throwing karma. You remember now? Penji yang la. Penji yang la je. Ta mingsu ne choya par nam pangbe yang la. Mingsu ne choya par. So then between, after this, number 4, 5, 6, 7, next 4 links, categorized into pangbe yang la. It's like as a, so that's why sometimes I wish I speak fluent English, then I can say exactly in English. But now it's called pangbe yang la. I'm not sure how to translate. Pangbe yang la, penji yang la. Something that throws ignorance, first ignorance and motivation. So intentions, like intentions. Then first you think something. Usually, generally speaking, you don't do anything without thinking. Even though we say I do without thinking, but that's not really true. But you have to think in order to do something. So there's motivation or intentions. So then after that, actions. You take actions. Say something or maybe move something. That's actions. So then that actions, then that goes actions. The second moment is tune into tendencies, and it's not going to be rest. It's going to be kind of printed. It's going to be printed on consciousness, and it will be printed on consciousness. So there's the first three. That's called these things throw something, throwing karma. Then what it will throw? It will throw number 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the one, Then you take rebirth. So then all the organs grows. Then there's like feeling. Then there's contact. So then there's like first all the organs grow. So then there's then contact. So then feeling. So then from there, so then aversions, then attachment, craving, then everything starts. Then this first. So there's like first three. There's like throwing something. What it will throw the next 4 categories. That's throws. So that's called. I'm not sure how you say in English. Pangbe yang la. Something that throws by ignorance. The actions. Then the actions that's been second one has been printed on the consciousness. Those 3 things throw something. Next 4. There's another categories. Pangbe yang la. So this text is not translated into English. So this is the text I studied back in the monastery. This is just one book. So how many books you brought? 16. There's 16 books that I've been studying last 20 years, around 25 years. I finished all of that in the monastery. So all the books they brought, the group that recently went to India. So I like to read physical book, not in the computer. So then when I was there, so there's no book, this kind of books never available. So it's all like this form, very big, long, and not easy to carry. So now they made it very nice, and it has what they call beginning the books. They use table of content. So these books, there's no table of content. If you want to find something, you have to read every single page. There's no table of content unless you remember which page number. So this is not, they make it very easy to make all the table of content. So I think table of content is a little bit too elaborated. Little bit too elaborated, probably not need that much, but they did a good job.
In Liberation, they may be trying to explain what you're talking about.
Yeah, please say. Yeah.
They have 4 limbs.
4 limbs, yeah.
The first is precipitating, and they also mention throwing.
Yeah, precipitating. 4 limbs, so that's like literally
Page
translations.
484.
4 limb, that's literally translation. I think better to say 4 category. That's probably better much better in English, probably. Didn't
The categories, the English words for them are still hard. The first one is not too bad, precipitating limb. And then the next
precipitating limb
sounds like rain.
Sounds like talking about weather.
Yeah. And the ones that are thrown.
Actually, Susie, there's like, it says, there's like something that throws, you know, mainly. So I'm not sure that's probably not the, doesn't sound like scholar word, throwing something. I'm not sure that's the only word I can say in my English, throwing something. So sometimes it sounds good, but actually that's what it is.
Did you want to know the others, or
pages something produce something. These three things will produce something, or maybe So then the second one is called, what is called? This is like liberation palm of your hand.
Yes, page 484.
We read this book, I think, long, maybe now, almost 15 years ago. I read this book thoroughly at the center, at the old center. I taught them, found many mistakes. Probably whoever translated this book is probably not happy, so wrote me email. Not like negative email, but wondering, will I find more mistakes? And I told them I'm not interested. I told all the mistakes that I found when we went through, I told Mark. So I think the group, they're asking, will you find more mistakes? I said, I have no interest. I told them I have no interest. I'm not interested to find more. That means I don't want to read again. In English, so I have no interest to reading Tibetan text in English. It doesn't make sense for me, so I always read Tibetan, not English. So it's all went through, so now they're asking. Like somebody said, I'm not sure how they find out the mistake that I pointed out. That's pretty obvious mistake. So these are not mistakes, so probably there could be better choice of word.
The second one is establishing limb.
Yeah.
Establishing.
There's maybe something that's been thrown by those three things. Next four things that's the result of the first three. So you choose the word because you speak fluent English, so you have probably more words than I do. Yeah. What it's called? It's called like
establishing, number 2.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But
the third one's not good.
Huh?
It's resultant precipitating limb. It sort of makes sense, but
long time ago, I went to Taos, New Mexico. I spent 1 month with one American professor teaching us how to translate from Tibetan into English. And he's teaching. I spent like 1 month there. Got kind of excited, so learned so many new words. When I come back here, I said, nobody understands. Just forget about the meaning. Nobody understands the word. When I say in English, nobody understands. I thought, oh, that's interesting. I spent 1 month every single day, a couple of hours studying. Then when I come back, so that nobody understands. So, Pambeyangla, Penjiyangla, Pambeyangla. Was a Penji music that didn't Pambey. So let's say was Dujijangla. So what's called third one? What's called?
They're saying that the establishing limb, the second one, is craving, grasping, and becoming. So this may not be the same thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, probably it's the same thing.
Didn't you say 4, 5, 6, 7?
So then number like, say, first one, there's 3. Out of 12, there's 3. First, there's 3. Then there's next 4. There's the second one. Next 4 limb, there's the second one. So then the third one, there's 3.
I don't think they're doing the exact same thing that you're saying.
Mm.
I'm not sure that this is
Or
what I'm
maybe
saying
I should
is
not
correct.
create. Probably maybe I should stop. I should stop to create more headaches. Make it more
I just
simple.
don't want to lead you
So,
astray.
yeah.
I'm not sure. So
Anyway, so they're talking about, they're like trying to categorize this 12 link into 4 categories. First one, the first category, that's like say, let's say it's like, it's almost like producer. The first 3 things is producers. So the next 4 is product. It's product. So that's category, there is a product. So no matter what kind of word you use, that's the meaning. First, next 4 ones, the product. Then the next 3 categories, then that kind of has a actually make the product. It's not just produce. It actually make the product. So then so see, producer means there's something that produce something. Usually pay or what? Usually fund. Producer. What is the meaning of producer?
It's someone it's creator, maker.
Oh, some creator. So then that product has been created by producers. The product. So then as a kind of like next 3 kind of like that materialize the product. That materialize.
Okay.
Next 3 that kind of materialize. It's not just yeah, kind of that really actually manifest. Silence was a drujang la ji. Dine kaza silence was a drujang la ji. Gajini drujang la gajini drujang la. So then like then the last drujang la. So then kind of like end, aging and death, kind of then kind of like conclude. Every beginning has end, so then every end is not really end, and that's the beginning of something. The beginning, everything that began, it has end, and end is like it's beginning of something. Beginning of not just dead end. End is not just dead end; it's the beginning of something. So that's the 4 categories. So. Yeah, next one, whenever Amy or Robina, when they come, ask them what is the better word in English. So they speak fluent English. So Amy, she's American, so she knows American language very well. Robina, Australian, I'm not sure how the Australian language is. I'm not sure about Australian language. I have no idea. So these are how to categorize 12 link into 4 categories. Okay. So is that clear? Yeah. So for the sake of knowledge, next time somebody asks you, you can explain. If they want to read a book, you can pinpoint the book, so that when they go to the book, they will find. So then, because it's important, so that eventually it needs to be somewhere there. All the books that taught by Shakyamuni Buddha has to be there. Then that proves that you didn't just make this up. Actually, it's coming from there. It's all written there. Then somebody comment. The commentaries, the actual text is too hard to understand. Somebody write comments. So that commentary become again difficult to understand. Then somebody writes again commentaries. So that commentary become more difficult. Then there's many commentaries after commentaries. That's how this is. This is like commentary after commentary. So so now So now 12 links, like as a you can Mariba Seba Lembet and Desum Nimo, or maybe now it's more headache. I think it's more. So now this is all. I'll try the first one. I'll try first one. Yala nimos do nimong is Sanskrit words called klesha, and here in English you say delusions, afflicted mind or delusions. The minute it rises, it kind of dilutes, it kind of pollutes your mindset. It kind of pollutes your mindset. The minute it rises. And of course, out of that is the anger is the worst one. The anger is the worst one. But in other, there are not angers are not only delusions. There are many other delusions. But when they rise, it kind of pollutes. It kind of pollutes your mind. It kind of pollutes your mind. Okay, so that's the Numong's called klesha. So then, how to sum up those 12 links into the three types of delusions. Okay. Number one, tangbo. So now that the text that I'm now quoting is written by Vasubandhu, Indian master, and Abhidharma Kosha, the chapter number 5. When you read the chapter number 5, root text, then you'll find this sense that I'm saying now. Tangbo, that's the fast. Tangbo means fast. Out of 12 links, the first, Tangbo, Geba, number 8. Tangbo Geba, good, the number 9. These are the delusions. Out of 12 links, number 1, number 8, number 9. Tangbo Geba, Gunyi Mons. These are delusions, okay? Mari Seba Lembet into Sumji, Kuni Nimu Masunda, Duje, Sibet in the Legend. So Duje. Seba, Lamba, Siba, Lamba, Geba, Guba, Chuba. Number 2 and number 10. Number 2 and number 10. Okay. Now number 2 and number 10, these are karma. Even though there's different word, it means action, it means karma. Number 2 and number 10, these are karma. Okay, the second category, the karma. Duje the Sibedini, Legibonimu Duje. Lama du Kuni Nimu Boham, Tse Kuni Nimu, Dungaji Kuni Nimu Duje, Nimuja. Then Lama Duje, Tse Kuni Nimu Boham, so this one very difficult to translate. Last, now there remain out of 12 links, the seven, now there are 7 left. So 7, so then the rest 7, rest 7. So then that because of sums up into one category is hard to translate. Just say hard to translate. Sums up into hard to translate. Okay, so that's my English translation. Sums up into hard to translate. The rest 7 summarize into hard to translate. So like that. So may not be beneficial for your meditation purpose, but for sake of knowledge, if somebody asks, then you can explain. Otherwise, when you meditate, you have no need to remember all of this. All of so maybe then So order, now there's when you put into practice, there's order. Because of ignorance, there's karma. Because of karma that imprint into consciousness, then there's the sixth result will follow up. If there's no ignorance, there will be no karma. There will be no karma, then there will be no birth. There will be no aging. There will be no death. So that's when you meditate on that, that's called order. When you're meditating, dwelling in order. The ignorance, then the reverse order. Reverse orders. So see, Geshe. So where the aging and death come from? It's come from birth. Where's the birth come from? Then you go reverse way. There's like reverse way of doing meditations. Order, how you say? Order? Correct order or reverse? How you say? Reverse order. And order means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's order. 10, 9, 8, 7. That's what it's called reverse. Okay. Order. So first you meditate. The way they meditate, practitioners, they go to cemeteries. Here you don't find in the cemetery in Tibet. You will go to cemetery, you find piece of bone. You pick it up. Nobody's teaching nothing. Nobody's teaching anything. You just go there. You just pick it up. The one way to do meditations, because they already learn. So they they try to cemetery. They pick up one piece of bone. Then they ask where it's coming from. This is death. There's no cross, and they say it's coming from birth. So then they go reverse order. They just meditate on 12 links, and they go in order between, and they liberate. Nobody's teaching them. They just liberate. Just picking them up. So therefore, sometimes in Tibet, there's in the main mala, sometimes they have skeleton. A skeleton looks like a skeleton made of small bone. And what they call the string, it's not nowadays, very convenient here. But actually it's like leather. Every day you use, when you touch, you feel this is skin. And you see this skeleton. And this is all for meditation purpose, to try to teach you something, remind you something. What is this life is all about? So then you same like that, picking a piece of bone, that's like that, aging, birth, then goes, another. Then that's how they break the cycle. They break the cycle. No more aging, no more death, no more remorse, no more grief, no more. So it's finished. Then 12 links kind of cease. Oh, so that's the purpose. They because the rosary they use every day, so that when they touch, they feel there's somebody's skin, and they meditate on impermanent. So choice. You can't, even though your mind tricks you, but so you have to be aware. You have to be aware that this could be last day, and what's your choice? To be kind, happy, or nasty, or be miserable. Your choice. So that's why so I'm just for the sake of knowledge. That's the animal, the skin they use for strings to put the bead in. That's skin. Here skeleton. So then they see. So that so then monastery. Not nowadays you don't see. Ancient time, outside the monastery, you see outside the monastery in the porch. Before you enter into monastery, they have paintings of skeletons. Each time when you enter, that kind of reminds you. So something, always trying to teach you something. So so this one kind of tende saji dibi yangla chuni ji, yangla chuni ji, yangla chuni kuri usu, tamu maribi den tiji duji damshe, tiji seba, tiji lemba, tiji sibe den chungse, tiji mingso, tiji jinji. So now when the 12 links, how has the order that we just went through, went through 3 cause, then 4 result, then another cause, another result. This is more like education purpose. So when you look at the training from the practical point of view, the order kind of changes. So this is more education purpose, how you educate people about 12 links. So now here, this is more like tende sarchigi dibe yangla chuni korim yangla chuni korim is tangbo. No, it's first, of course, in ignorance. So then, so here, I think probably better that even in Tibetan word it does call ignorance, but what it really means, it means like intention or motivations. It's more like motivation. Just think about motivation. First one is more like motivation and intentions. But it does call, even in Tibetan text is called ignorance, not knowing ignorance. That's called ignorance. So that's very deep. That's very deep things. That's very deep things. It's not like, don't know how to drink a tea. It's not that we're talking about that kind of ignorance. Don't know how to drink water. It's not like that. If you don't know how to use this watch, even though it has more features, that is ignorance. That ignorance is not like tuning the cycle, not knowing how to use the watch. That's nothing to do with the cycle. There's no impact. So that ignorance is very particular one. So that kind of tune the cycles. That's why I'm saying it's kind of deep one. It's not just not knowing something. It's much deeper than that. So actually, it's like the realization, how is it? Not realization. Perception or perception of self. Perception of self. There's a mistake, according to Buddha's teaching. There's a mistake. The way we define ourselves, But of course, like generally speaking, the majority of the people they don't bother to ask themselves, what is self. They don't bother to ask themselves. They just go with that, So that's why I'm saying it's deep. It's kind of deep. Like it's all about analyzing the perception of self. What is self? How you define self? If you have no clear idea, so maybe based on that, so then you become attached to self, which you have no clue. So then you end up saying me is not really clear. That's not really clear. Right from the beginning, it's not really clear what do you mean me. It's not really clear. So then from there, it's not clear. So then you become attached to me. So then from there, then you become attached to my. Then probably, then there's also, that unclear identity when it get involved into something. So then you call my. So then somebody does something to that, then it's hurt. If you don't label, if your identity is not involved, somebody does something, you don't care. Like your car, some other cars outside in the parking lot, all of a sudden the crow comes, poops. Someone else's car, that may not be deal. If there's poops into your car on the windshield, then they hurt. Because identity involved there is mine. So that mine is driven by me, which is not clear. what is me, what is me, what is self. Then when you start to analyze your perception of self, you can't really find. You can't really find. So that one. So because of that, then we do things. Then we create karma, do things. So that's the first one. That's what it's not just not knowing how to use this alarm clock. That's not just okay. So first, that is intention is then very much rooted into that perception of identity, how to define self. Very much everything is driven by there. Everything is driven by there. Everything driven by there. I'm not saying it's negative, but everything is driven by that. So then first one, that's the first one. The second, then you do things out of that. You do things, say things, think different. So then where this goes, it doesn't go away. Second moment, it prints into consciousness, which the brain has how many years? How many years old brain? Oh, how many years old? Our brain. Our brain, how many years old?
They say 2.5 million years since self-awareness.
So that's a long time, 2.5 million years. According to science, right? Science? Yeah. That's 2.5 million years. That's probably, we only live 100 years. So then you now just think about 2.5 million years. That's like long time. So then when you hear in the Buddhism, beginningless, that's like much more. That's like talking about not just billions of years. So then that means our brain remain like as a brain like 2.5 million years.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in time. No, they say 2.5 million years since the brain was complex enough to have a sense of having self-awareness.
So there's a science. The science still needs to be developed.
But on the other
science is not fully developed yet, I don't think.
But on the other hand, computer science, Roger Penrose, Einstein, Bohm, they say that a machine cannot be self-aware. So there are two camps in science. One of them says, well, in biology, it had enough neurons to be self-aware 2.5 million years ago. But a vast majority of scientists say a machine with a finite number of neurons cannot be self-aware. And that's a proof in computer science.
What cannot be proved?
Somebody proved that a finite state machine can't process what's called partially recursive strings, which means it cannot.
Machine, you mean when you say machine, the brain or what?
Yeah, the brain, the organ, yeah. So it cannot, artificial intelligence can never be conscious.
So
that's not a mystery, that's a hardcore proof. Yeah.
But they don't talk about consciousness. Yeah. So now I think nowadays scientists start to talk about something besides brain. Something besides brain. Scientists start to talk about whether they call consciousness or not conscious. They kind of like think there's something besides brain. So anyway, so I'm not sure why I'm saying the consciousness. No consciousness. So then anyway, maybe nobody has clear understanding. Everybody says consciousness, but actually nobody has. So when you say consciousness, what do you feel? What do you feel? Yeah, in Tibetan we say same.
So in physics, consciousness is defined as the entity that creates this reality. in quantum mechanics.
Oh.
In science, in 1920s, they defined consciousness as the entity that creates this reality.
Entity that creates the reality.
Yeah, that
right,
creates
right.
this reality.
So what is that entity? It's called consciousness?
That's consciousness.
Entity. Oh, there it is.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That which cannot be named.
Okay, cannot be named. Oh, cannot be named, yeah. Or you can say, another way you can say hard to translate. So see, like here I'm not sure, like, in Tibetan we do say, nga, sembaki wo means I, my mind is not happy. I'm not sure in the West, you say that? In Tibetan we do say, my mind is not happy. Nga sembaki wo means my mind is not happy. It's much a little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper. It can't like as the feeling. The brain is here. Everybody knows brain is not here. There. The brain is here, right? There's no brain here, right?
I don't know. I've never seen my brain. So
No. So the people do show that they show brain. So the usually brain people, when they have something, then they operate here. They don't operate here. Right? When you have a brain tumor, if they operate here, so that's a big mistake. So they usually open here. So brain is here. So when you say my mind is not happy, you are not really thinking here. So anyway, very interesting. Like somebody asks you some questions that you remember. You don't ask questions, but you don't remember this moment. Then you start to think. All of a sudden, people usually go like this. It seems like it's all like sums up here. So here. So then you visualize. Then there's something happening from here, not really here. When you visualize something, when you try to visualize something, and it seems like it's coming from center of your heart. It's not really from here. So anyway, so the brain is called, Tibetan word brain is called leba. Leba means brain. Nobody says, oh, my leba is not happy. A Tibetan word, that sounds really crazy. Nobody says that. My brain is not happy. We do say, my mind is not happy. So that means it's nothing to do with, or maybe you have no enough to eat. It's nothing to do with the food. It's nothing to do with, it's something deeper. Some kilometers ago. Anyway, so each one of us needs to think. When you say my mind, what do you really mean my mind? Or do you mean like beside your brain, something beside your brain, or what do you really mean my mind? So Robert Thurman, so I think he was ordained long time ago. He was monk. So then, when he was in America, so he's studying with one of the Mongolian Geshe called Geshe Wangchen. That's his teacher, his first Dharma teachers. And he told me that he told, when we are teaching together, he told the audience. So he always very interested to learn how to meditate, and he's hoping that Geshe Wangchen will teach him how to meditate, and by usually he don't teach. And one time he's sitting in his room like this, and Geshe Wangchen walked in, and Geshe Wangchen asked him, what are you doing? So he said, I'm meditating. So Geshe Wangchen said, you don't meditate, or you don't know how to meditate, or something, say something negative things. Then he was kind of got upset. He asked why. Geshe Wangchen told me, you don't have mind. And Robert Thomas said that really shook him, because when he thought about deep down, he don't believe in mind. He don't believe in mind. So Geshe Wangchen does not literally mean that he don't have mind. So That's incorrect to say. Everybody has mind. And he thought about that. Later he found out deep down he don't believe in mind. It's not, he have no any feelings about mind. So very interesting. So each and every one of us need to think. When you say my mind, how often you say my mind? I'm not sure. How often you think, how often you say, or how often you think about your mind, I'm not sure. Anyway, so there's something that something to think about. So I'll stop here. Time is over. Maybe one more class. Okay, one more class. Yeah, one more class. Then training will be finished.
So Geshe, you were saying that in Tibetan they say my mind is not happy.
Yeah.
Do they, when they use the word mind, is that the same as consciousness, or is it a different meaning or different word?
Actually, no, same. Yi, namshe. There's two different terms, but it all means same thing. They are synonym. But yi, namshe, that's very much Dharma terminology. So if you say my yi is not happy, maybe a lot of normal people, they don't understand what you're talking about. If you say my consciousness, called namshe, is not, it's very uncommon. Usually nobody says. Nobody says my mental is not happy, my consciousness is not happy. It's very unusual.
In Buddhism, is the consciousness and in the mind, are they the same thing? Or are they
same
thing? Okay.
Same thing. Synonym. Yeah. Even though there are different names, these are synonym.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Brown.
Hey, Geshe. So some years ago, Sangi Sandu, who was George Dreyfus.
Yeah, Swiss monk.
And this was like in the late, 1990. He came, and he was teaching. I think he was teaching the 12 links. And one of the things he said, and I've never heard anybody else say this, but it really stuck with me. He was talking, as if he was talking about the 12 links, about how there's senses, form, and then there's the six senses, and then there's the objects, and then there's contact with the sensory objects, and then
feeling.
As soon as there's contact, without any choice at all, we have a feeling, right? Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, right?
Yeah.
And he said, if there's a pleasant feeling, this is going to be desire, and then there's going to be clinging. And he said, so real spiritual practitioners pay attention to their feelings. They said, this is what he said. He said, right there where there's feeling, where we're experiencing feeling, but before the desire can get all really strong and the clinging can get strong, he said, right there is where real spiritual practice happens, is recognizing our feelings and not being hooked by desire and clinging and grasping. So I never heard that, but he made a very strong point that as soon as there's sensory contact, feelings arise, and pleasant, unpleasant, or whatever, and then that's where we really have to pay attention to our feelings. Does that sound right?
That's very true.
Okay.
So especially when you're enjoying the cheesecake. So that's the moment that spiritual practice comes into handy. You can't say, oh, I'm going to have cheesecake all to myself. It was so good to share, so good to give up. So then from there, when the feeling, minute there's a contact, there will be feeling, either pleasant, unpleasant, neutrals. Unpleasant, then aversions rise if you don't pay attention. if you pay attention, then that unpleasant feeling could transform, accept and could transform into something that you can go higher. Or you could become, if you develop aversions, that depend on the level of aversion. If you be stronger the aversions, then the greater the misery will be experienced. So then pleasant, so don't become, they also use that, they wish, they use that to develop bodhicitta, all of that. So there's critical moment. Yeah, but I think there's Sanjay Samdo, he was monk, Swiss, he's from Swiss, he was monk, and I know him very well, personally know him very well. So, and he learned all the philosophical texts very well. He received the highest degree in Geshe. And he used to come to see my teacher. My teacher is one of the scholars in the monastery. He used to come there, so I know him quite well. So, so I think that's very good. Yeah.
Okay, turn to page 263 in the Gold Prayer Book, and we'll say the final Lamrim dedication.
How's our almond dessert? You're going to share it when?
Sorry?
The almond when? So, maybe it's probably too late to share now. Maybe it will create the best sleep.
Or take it home for breakfast.
Oh.
After the dedication.
Yeah, after the dedication.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Page 263. From my two collections, vast as space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this graded path to enlightenment, completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And then on pages 244 and 245, we'll say the short, long life prayers, beginning with the prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then Gyume Khyentse Rinpoche, and then Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Gangri Rawe Korwe Jing Kam Dir Pendang Dewa Malu Jung Wei Ne Tenre Zi Guang Tenzin Gyatsoi Jape Site Bardu Tengyur Chig Jonu Ine Nagla Wang Jortu Awatare Tsen Barab Sodpa Lob Sangel We De Tong Leg Pel Shok Jaser Gen Gyur Lama Solwa Deb Tub Sul Chong Xing Jam Gun Gel Wei Tenzin Kyong Pel Wei Kun Su Dog Por Tse Chok Sung Kur Wei Leg Mon Tu dru. Padak sok dulje gundu japten shog. And now 7 green Tara mantras for Geshe Gelek, Geshe song pose. Long, happy, healthy lives. Om tare tu re so ha. 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 Om tare tu re so ha.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, and have a good night. So now India, they're saying, make your mouth sweet, move it like that means it's special occasion. That's what they do. They bring something, move it like means like move with your mouth, make your mouth sweet. That means Arman is making your mouth sweet.